It's late December 1720, and the global financial system is suffocating under the weight of a sudden, catastrophic market crash. For North American colonists, news arrived through the American Weekly Mercury, the primary link binding the British Empire. Looking at this original front-page dispatch, dated London, October 1st, we see exactly how the paralyzing South Sea Company stock crash was reported. The ink lays out the scale of the fallout, explicitly describing a financial collapse that seemed to threaten so many people. The column details chaotic company court meetings, noting intense anger and clamors against the directors from desperate investors demanding their money. The outrage reached the highest levels of government. The paper reports widespread demands for Parliament to step in, investigate, and bring these executives to justice, explicitly labeling them the betrayers of their country. When thousands of people face immediate ruin and views our financial leaders as national enemies, the resulting panic moves beyond the stock market and becomes a direct threat to civil order. In a bid to restore public credit, officials proposed extreme measures. Looking at this dispatch, a Mr. Cragg compares the current economic devastation directly to the actual physical destruction of the 1666 fire of London. Veteran financiers were highly skeptical that any quick fix would hold. Sir Gilbert Heathcote, an older director mentioned in the report, noted he'd survived many financial storms and expressed a grim hope that the public was finally cured of its infatuation with reckless speculation. The crisis eventually required royal intervention to stop the bleeding. The paper records that the Prince of Wales personally subscribed £50,000 to the Bank of England to stabilize the broader economy. But London's financial panic was only one part of the global news cycle. Moving our attention away from the banks and across the English Channel, the continent of Europe was managing an active biological crisis. Reading the Paris Dispatch, mortality rates in Marseille were dropping as officials prayed for a winter frost to freeze out the distemper. Alongside that, the contagion reached Spain, while the Duke of Medina's daughter fell desperately ill with smallpox. In the winter of 1720, the foundations of European society were at the mercy of highly unpredictable forces. The survival of an empire relied on royal bailouts, and the survival of a city relied on a lucky drop in temperature. The persistent threat of contagion created intense paranoia in major hubs. This September 14th dispatch from Rome reports that city authorities ordered 6 of the city's 16 gates to be completely walled up. Walling up these massive, ancient brick archways required heavy labor and engineering, effectively turning a primary city entrance into a permanent, immovable barrier against the outside world. But disease wasn't the only threat driving these lockdown measures. The dispatch also points to an immediate military concern. German troops were actively marching from the Kingdom of Naples through Italy toward the Duchy of Milan. Meanwhile, in the north, diplomatic efforts were stalling out. Reports indicated that peace talks with the Russian Tsar were faltering because the proposed terms were far too vague to be trusted. The international section wraps up with a brief naval update off the coast of Lisbon, detailing how an English man-of-war managed to recapture 2 prize ships from the corsairs of Sallee. Taken together, these military and diplomatic briefs paint a picture of a continent fractured by deep mistrust. In this environment, even a merchant ship delivering Winail carried the potential of political upheaval or biological infection. While the Old World managed locked gates, plagues, and market crashes, the news printed for the American colonies carried a remarkably different tone. Turning to the back pages, we see the regular custom house logs for New York and Philadelphia. These ledgers show that colonial maritime trade was humming along steadily, unaffected by the panic in London. Dosdos, Jamaica, and Madeira, ensuring the lifeblood of the colonial economy kept flowing. But one bulletin from Philadelphia stands out. It plainly reports the arrival of a ship from Maryland carrying 30-odd men servants. The paper explicitly states they were brought in to establish hemp manufacture locally. While European headlines were dominated by emergency damage control and defensive walls, the American colonies were focused on aggressive expansion, extracting resources and importing the labor needed to build new industries from the ground up. The pages of the Mercury prove the world of 1720 was already a highly integrated system. On a single sheet of printed paper, a colonial reader could trace the quiet rise of an American agricultural industry, right alongside the spectacular collapse of a London bank.
The Daily Dispatch, history in print.